my bread alone. Yeah, this word got food in it. Stepping on the devil dome, you should see the bruise in it. Backing out the scripts, told a demon to stand down. Go against the Most High, we gon' see how it pan out. The Father gave me hope, fill me with the ghosts. Now they hate it when I glow. Joseph with the coat, looking for their fruit, but they ain't got no cantaloupe. The Messiah over Lio, you can't be a fan of both. Can't serve two masters. Bread of heaven with the living water, yeah, serving up a truth platter. We ain't idolizing no folly, now we setting up a new standard. When Christ touched down, make the whole earth shake like Bruce Banner. Yeah, bringing them troops to ya. End times getting spookier, warfare getting nuclear, mankind getting goofier. They intoxicated with a wine, damn, she done roofied them. I'm checking every word, spirit doctrine like a proofreader. I hate these Nicolatans, hate these graven idols, man, I hate these flipping pagans. Trying to play my father and I hate these imitations. Screaming out Hosanna, we escape that simulation. Better flee to me, vote these or else that lake is where you layin'. Great is he inside of me, casting out this net like I was by the Sea of Galilee. Harvest gon' be plenty, but the laborers are few. Matthew 17 and 20, there ain't nothing we can't do. I can't be no lukewarm, Fringes with the blue on. Devil wanna deal, but I told him this ain't Groupon. Praise to the Almighty, you know we gon' sing a new song. Hail the King of King, the Ultra Low, no Jimmy Neutron. If you keep his laws and his commands, then we can fellowship. I don't get with Pharisees and I don't rock with Hellenists. I ain't praising man, cause only Father get my reverence. I'm swimming in the word, it got me feeling like a yellowfin. Yeah, big stepper, Mr. Demon Chin Checker, trying to hear that well done, cause I feel that displeasure. Father pouring out the wrath, and he got a big measure. If it ain't about the kingdom, then I don't give a six letter. You got faith in the Messiah, you got power. I was clean up in that blood just like a shower. Isaiah 5, you were the vine that came out sour, but now we stand and giving glory in this hour. Yeah, we breaking them curses, fleeing the ways of the serpent. Follow his word and pray for discernment, cause they want us laying in hearses. We gotta rise up, raise and resurface, choose life and stay in your purpose. The price was paid like a merchant, through Christ who came as a servant. See, the kingdom is ready to bag, but yet somehow they chasing a Birkin. After this you ain't getting a chance, while you living you can't better search him. Gotta call on his name like his urchin, never knowing that day is emerging. So repent at the weight of perversions, judgment coming, that thing is for certain. Let's go.
Shalawam family, it's your brother Shah Ariala from the House of Bread, and I have to give all praises, all glory, and all honor to the Most High God, whose name is Yahawah. And of course I do so in the name of his only begotten Son, Hamashiach, Yahawashi, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Make sure you make your way over to HIBofficialZion.com and get you a copy of the HIB, the Hebrew Israelite Bible. Shalawam, Yasharahla.
The Hebrew Israelite Bible is the first of its kind, restoring the names of persons, places, and things in the ancient Hebrew dialect, colloquially referred to amongst the Israelite community as the Lashawan Quadash. Most importantly, it preserves the Most High's name Yahawah in the Paleo-Hebrew script. The Hebrew Israelite Bible comes complete with all 80 books found in the 1611 King James Version Bible, including the Apocrypha.
All right, Shalawam, Shalawam family. First and foremost, want to give all praises, all glory, and all honor to the Most High God, whose name is Yahawah. Of course, I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. It's your brother Shar Ariala, and today we're about to dive into some current events, right? Um, Now, this is a scripture that we bring out all the time, right? Second Ezra chapter 9. Okay, in Second Ezra, right? He's told to measure the time diligently, right? So this is the show that we'll do when we're actually reacting to various different current events and lining them up with biblical prophecy, right? This is important because as we live our lives here in Babylon the Great in these last days, and we see the signs that have been prophesied of old, we have to again measure the time diligently. So that's why the name of these type of videos is gonna be measure the time. All right. Shalawam family, sorry for the delay, man. I've been having some little technical difficulties over here. I'm not sure what's going on. I think my internet's been kind of laggy, so hopefully the stream goes well and we can dive into this and have no issues. All right. Again, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell icon. Make sure you so that you can get notified whenever I go live, whenever we upload videos. So make sure that you're tapped in here on the channel, Shar Ariala. All right. Let me just get my other camera set up. Additionally, right, make sure that you're tapped in with our various different social media platforms. So we are simulcasting here on House of Bread. So make sure that you're subscribed to the House of Bread channel. Last week had some issues where I was unable to go live or even upload. I couldn't even make a post, right? Couldn't even make a post this past week because of that Jubilee debate between Officer Tatum and 20 black liberals. Reacted to that, and of course, it hit me with a copyright strike, so I wasn't able to do anything for a week. But as that was happening, I was still in the background working, putting together a ton of different lessons and videos for you, all right, for our people. So make sure, like I said, make sure you tap in with those with our various different social media platforms. Okay, let's see. Make sure that you follow me at LionOfYahawah on IG, on TikTok, on Twitch, on X. My Facebook is Ariala Yasharahla. Actually, last night went live on TikTok. So for the past couple of weeks, yesterday being the second time, I'm going live on TikTok. TikTok is it looks like the new frontier. There's a lot of Christians on TikTok, so there's a ton of smoke. So actually, let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. Right, let's go ahead. Let me pull up the channel. Lord in Christ. Give me 1 second, family. I had to reset my computer and everything. I don't know what's been going on. But anyway, right, like I said, make sure that you tapped in with our various different social media platforms. Make sure you tapped in with the channel. So, couple quick things, right? Share screen. That's not what I'm looking for. Oh, wait. Yeah, TikTok has just been on some nonsense. Not TikTok, StreamYard. Give me 1 second, family. Here we go. All right, there we go. Boom. So where we at? Layout's all messed up. All right, boom. So looks like we are having more technical difficulties. Lord and Christ. Can't win. All right, here we go. Right. So make sure that you're tapped in here on the channel. Clearly we're live right now. Bunch of videos been uploaded, right? So I did this video. Is Donald Trump the Antichrist? What the Bible actually says, right? So released that 2 days ago. Got a couple of videos dropping in the next couple of days. So on this will be Saturday at 2 p.m. right? This is a clip from last week, having some dialogues with some Christians, right? Like I said, the smoke is on TikTok, right? So make sure you follow me on TikTok, right? Uploading that here this Saturday at 2 p.m. So this will be good edification for y'all while y'all, some of y'all, I know you keep the Friday, Saturday, Shabbat, tap in, make sure you hit that notification button. All right. And then on Monday, right? I'll be doing a video reacting to a post that I saw a Hebrew Christolite post, right? So this brother basically is attempting to use 1 Corinthians chapter 9 to prove the Trinitarian doctrine, right? So I dissect that entire thing, right? That will be premiering this Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, make sure you tap in and hit that notification for this video. And as you can see, you can actually join the channel to become a member, right? So people have reached out about my some of my old debates, some of my old content from when I was in Sakari, and for a while now, I haven't wanted to re-upload a lot of that stuff because I don't want any association with Sakari whatsoever, right? For obvious reasons, okay? However, right, like I said, I will be releasing tons of my old debates and old street teachings and things of that nature for members only, right? There's only one tier, right? You join, you have access to this old catalog. Additionally, working on setting up a weekly Bible study. So myself, the brother Shalawam, and a couple other brothers that we're close with, former 1715 members. On Wednesdays, we read and study, right? So we'll be giving access to members on the channel to that Bible study as well, that weekly Bible study. So make sure you tap in, become a member, and again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right. So let's get into it, man. Let's get into it, right? So put a 1 in the chat if you guys saw what was going on this past week, right? With all of the celestial events happening all around the world. We had new moon. New moon was what, Tuesday evening, right? The 12th. And we had a full solar eclipse that was visible in certain parts of the world, right? I don't think it was visible for us here in the States. There was a planetary parade, so that means there were 6 planets. Now, the word planet etymologically means wandering star. So we had a planetary parade. We had a solar eclipse during a new moon, right? Right now we are in the 6th month of the Hebrew year, right? We're in the 6th month. Next month is the 7th month, right? Where we have a plethora of high holy days. And typically what happens during the Feast of Tabernacles, the first day, which is on a full moon, is typically like a harvest moon, because the Feast of Tabernacles is known as the Feast of Harvest. So we got all these signs in the skies, right? And that's all indicative of the times that we're in. And again, going back to the motto of this show, right? We have to measure the time, right? We have to be occupied in the meditation of prophecy, right? So let me read a couple scriptures real quick. So again, Sirach chapter 40. Look at Sirach chapter 39 and verse 1. It reads, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies." You got to be occupied in prophecies. Why? Right? Because prophecy lets you know things that will happen before they happen. The Most High God sent the prophets of old to our people time and time and time again to warn us of impending doom, to warn us of impending dangers, right? To hopefully for us to amend or change our ways so that we can avoid the said perils, right? And that's super important because right now the world is on fire, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. And like I said, it's important that
but they don't want to talk to us,
that we pay attention to what's going on. All right. We got to pay attention to what's going on. And in order to understand prophecy, right, as the scriptures tell us in Psalm 111, verse 10, those that do the commandments have a good understanding, right? I was on TikTok last night and I got silly ass Christians talking about, oh, the millennial reign, and oh, you know, this Satan and blah blah blah, he's gonna be loosened and all this, that, and third, because they don't understand prophecy, right? They don't understand that Revelation 20 is jumping from different time periods, right? And there's different 1,000-year periods. So we'll have to do a breakdown of Revelation 20 soon, right? But again, because so-called Christians don't follow the laws of God, right? They don't follow the Torah. They don't follow the thing that Christ told them to keep, the thing that Christ kept himself, and him walking down that path of righteousness and being blameless and being that lamb without spot or blemish. We're supposed to follow his footsteps. They don't do that. And because they don't do that, they don't have a good understanding, because they're not occupied in the meditation of the law. They don't understand prophecy, right? So now let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, and verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. So you got to look at the times, right? Measure it. All right, see where we are, right? It says, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, right? So prophecy, right? There are signs and visions that are given, right? That have meaning. In order for you to understand the meaning, you got to keep the commandments, right? It says, when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. Again, the word prophecy means to profess before, right? It says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. The Most High God is visiting this place, family. The Most High God is visiting this place, okay? It says, therefore, when thou shalt be seen earthquakes, right? Put a one in the chat if you've seen all those earthquakes that was going on all along the ring of fire, right? Actually, I'm gonna pull up a video in just a second that I saw on TikTok. Not TikTok, on Instagram. And
all right, y'all. So this right here,
so I'm gonna pull up this video in just a second, right? But there was two massive earthquakes in Venezuela about a month ago, right? Back to back, like 7.4 Richter earthquakes, right? You had a major earthquake in Colombia just the other day, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, right, we had that one in Colombia, right? There was one right now in Puerto Rico. A lot of people don't have water. There's just so much going on. There was a huge, when I say huge, earthquake in Japan, right? And what happens is when the earth begins to quake, we see volcanic activity as well. And right. So, like I said, there's so much going on right now in the world. It's absolutely insane. Okay, so that's tripping. I gotta log into everything. Lord in Christ, this is insane. But anyway, let me pull up this video real quick for y'all. And give me 1 second, family. Right, we're gonna dive into this in just a second. All right, boom. Stay locked like I understand. Lord in Christ, this is absolutely insane. Right? Yeah, let me get them fair uses in the chat. Let's log into my IG real quick. All right. Okay, so real quick. Okay, here we go. Here's this video. Okay, here we go. So you got these earthquakes all over the world. And like I said, it's just so much going on right now. It's so much going on in the world, right? And this is, again, indicative of the fact that we are in the end times, right? We are emphatically in the end times. Is this the one? Right? Watch this. Let me pull up another one. pull up another one real quick. Watch this, family. Again, right in Colombia, right? You got all these volcanoes erupting. Like this is happening all over the world. And again, it's happening in places where our people are, right? Now, we know the Bible talks about that Jacob will be in a time of trouble, right? Actually, let me get that real quick, right? Let's go to the book of Daniel. Let's do Jeremiah 30 first. Jeremiah 30 and 7. And then we'll go to the book of Daniel, right? So here we are in Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, right? It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he will be saved out of it. Lord willing, right? We are found worthy to be of that number that will be saved out of this trouble that's going to be worse than any time that's been on the planet. It says, for it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck. Right now we're in bondage, right? Whether you making a couple $100,000 a year, you're a millionaire, right? You're well off in this society. Regardless of that, our people, we are in bondage, right? We are in captivity. It says that the Most High God will break his yoke from off thy neck and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve the Lord their God and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid, right? So the Most High God promised that he's going to deliver us from this trouble, but the only ones that are going to be able to escape are those that turn from transgression, right? Isaiah 59 and verse 20 says that the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and to them that turn from transgression in Jacob, right? Coming back here to 2 Ezra 9, which we read earlier about measuring the time. We got to understand that there's something that we have to do. As we see that the times, right, are lining up with when the Most High God is going to deliver the children of Israel, we have to make sure that we are doing what's required of us to receive that salvation, right? I'll jump down to verse 6. It says, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, right? Christians talk about grace, 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 grace. Oh, we're saved by grace and blah, 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 and this, that, and the third, right? They frustrate grace, as the scriptures tell us not to, right? They abuse grace. They take grace as not a free gift, but rather a get out of jail free card, right? They think that God's just going to give them the grace to do whatever. They don't have to keep the law. They don't have to do the things that he told them to do. Somehow they're going to receive grace and salvation just because they believe in Christ. Right? Yesterday while I was on TikTok, right? The prompt that I had on TikTok yesterday was that heathen will be slaves in the kingdom of heaven. Prove me wrong. Right? Various people came up. The conversation then shifted to I was having a conversation with an Issacharite brother about keeping the commandments, right? Because that's what we have to do. We have to at least warn our people, right? My job is to get the blood off my hands. I'm not trying to have the blood of our foolish people on my hands. Most High God told us to warn our people, to correct our people. That's how we show love, right? But again, just because they get warned doesn't mean they're going to listen, right? So it goes on to say, they shall be in pitiful case which have abused my ways. They have cast them away despitefully. They shall dwell in torments, right? So our people, right? We see what's going on here in Colombia, right? Right now, our people in Venezuela, they just had a massive earthquake, right? Their president just got kidnapped by the United States government. Down in Ecuador, you got all types of people getting right. All of this is going on right now. Our people are going through this time of trouble that God said would happen to the children of Israel. But those that turn from transgression in Jacob, they will be saved. They will be delivered, right? Let's go back here to Second Esdras, right? I'm going to jump back up to verse 7. It says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, right? You have to have faith and works. Christians tell us, all you gotta do is believe in Christ. You're saved through grace alone, through faith alone, through Christ alone. Those are three different things. Last time I checked, alone means one. Alone literally is all one. One by itself. Grace, faith, and Christ are three different things, right? But somehow I'm saved through faith, through grace, faith alone, through Christ alone, through Christ alone. That doesn't make any sense, right? You have to have faith and you have to have works. Your faith needs to be made perfect through your works, right? So again, it's plain, right? In order to get delivered, you gotta both have works and faith, right? Christ even says, actually, John 5. Right. So actually, let's get this right. Matthew chapter 16. I'll start at verse 24. It says, then said Jesus, Yahawashi, unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited, if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Right? A lot of our people, they sell out, right? They sell their souls, right? What does it mean to sell your soul? The word soul goes back to the Hebrew word napash and the Greek word, the Greek equivalent, which is psyche, which is your mind, right? Your morals, right? Your moral compass. When you sell your soul, you're selling out your morals. You're doing things contrary to your morals, right? A lot of our people were raised with so-called Judeo-Christian values, right? But then they go out into the world and they start to do what? They start to sell out, right? They'll do anything to become famous, do anything for a bag, right? That's the trap that our people find themselves in. Why? Because the love of money is the root of all evil. And because our people we're so used to having, right, being God's chosen people, when we don't have, when we're in a dearth instead of in excess, because we want to have what we once had in previous lives, then that's when people start to sell out and starts to do anything for $1, right? So it says, for the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. But somehow Christians say that, oh, it's a faith-based salvation. Why did Jesus Christ say that he's going to reward every man according to his works? Because faith without works is dead. You don't truly have faith. You don't truly believe if you don't actually do what God says, right? What Christians don't understand is that faith is a work. Christ says is one of the weightier matters of the law, right? So now let's dive into some more stuff, right, in terms of political, geopolitical happenings with Iran, right? So fair use. This is for educational purposes.
Oh, I got to give you some Iran war updates, and this stuff is catastrophically bad. I mean, this is like, it's amazing. This is not getting more coverage. So let me start with this right here. Hormuz letter says, breaking, Iran declares the Strait of Hormuz will stay closed until 2029, the end of Trump's term.
So why is that a problem, right? Let me want to try to make sure you guys can hear the video. Just want to make sure you guys can hear the video. One in the chat if you can hear the video. So Iran is saying, listen, we're not dealing with Trump anymore, right? Trump, he always says one thing and then does the exact opposite. Every time we try to negotiate with them, they bomb us, right? So they're not playing games. And this is what's leading up to Isaiah 13 coming to fruition, where it says that the Most High God is going to stir up the Medes against Babylon. They're not going to regard silver or gold, right? They had their terms. Listen, $300 billion in reparations. We want our assets back, right? Get rid of the sanctions. We have control of the Strait of Hormuz, and America needs to get the hell up on out of the region, right? Those are their demands, and they have the leverage. Babylon, right? The king of Babylon currently, Donald J. Trump, is a bumbling fool and fell into a trap where within the first few weeks of the war, used up 80-something% of our missiles. 80-something. Again, I said this last live. Imagine going to war, right? Right in the ancient times, right? During the time of the Assyrians, the Babylonians, right? The Egyptians. Imagine going to war. You got archers, but you ain't got no damn bows. Oh, y'all march all the way from Assyria to Babylon, right? But you forgot all the damn arrows at home. That's insane, right? So that's the trap that America is in, right? We don't have any more arrows, right? We're running out of missiles. So Iran, right? Scripturally, Persia, the Medes, they have the upper hand. They have all the leverage. And again, because you have a foolish leader in Donald Trump, right? Just how you had a foolish leader during the time of the Persians coming in and taking the city of Babylon under Cyrus the Great. Who was in power? You had Nabonidus. What was he concerned with? Oh, having a banquet and using the Most High God's holy golden vessels for him and his heathen to have a party. Trump's over here wasting our taxpayer dollars, right? Making gold, overlaying statues with gold. Like, this is who is at the helm of Babylon right now. And it's amazing, right? You got to thank the Most High God for putting this fool, right? For having the vast majority of Americans, 78 million Americans, right? MAGA. They want to make America great again. They want to make Babylon great again. Right? No, the Bible says that take no balm for Babylon. Babylon will not be healed. So the Most High God used this fool to deceive all these other fools, right? He ran on America first, on Babylon first, ran on no more new wars, and then immediately starts a new war. With a people who have literally withstood the test of time, thousands of years, different dynasties, different empires, they've survived. America is only 250 years old, right? But they're just so big and bad. So again, Iran has the upper hand, right? They have the leverage, and they're not going to regard silver or gold.
Unless Trump accepts all of Iran's demands, per a senior Iranian source and Majid Shakeri, advisor to Parliament Speaker Ghalibaf. Iran's demands in the U.S. surrender document remain unchanged. So it's $300 billion in compensation. That's like reparations for the attack. The release of up to $100 billion in frozen assets, lifting all sanctions, U.S. troop withdrawal from the entire region, including the military bases surrounding Iran, an end to the naval blockade, and accepting transit fees on every ship. So in other words, giving up total control of the Strait of Hormuz to Iran for them to charge fees or taxes or tolls or whatever for all the ships to go through. Does this look like Trump has it under control? Does this look like he's really close to a deal? Does this look like it's going to go his way? No, this is like they're fed up with you. They know you're full of shit. They know you can't abide by an agreement and you'll go back on your word instantly. And so,
again, the Bible says never trust thine enemies, right? Shout out to Tribe of Issachar. He says, who is more foolish, the fool or the fool who is following the fool? That's like one of those questions, like what came first, the chicken or the egg? One of those like philosophical questions. Who's more foolish, the fool? It's got to be the fools that are following the fool. But the fools that are following the fools are fools. And what do you expect else from a fool? At the end of the day, this just goes to show that Babylon is getting ready to crumble. And Lord willing, we are of that number that will be delivered from Babylon, from America.
So now they've just said, enough of the bullshit. We're waiting until the next administration gets in there, and then we'll negotiate with them, perhaps. But not going to happen. Not going to fucking happen. So he really, really shot.
And if Trump will have it his way, there won't be another administration, right? I saw in the Young Turks the other day. I might pull that video up. I saw in the Young Turks the other day, and I think also on Secular Talk, which we're watching right now. Trump was on some weird right-wing pundits show. I'm not sure if it's a YouTube or he's actually on cable television. And this guy gave him the idea that, hey, yeah, you could just announce a national emergency if they won't pass the SAVE Act and blah, 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 right? Because they're trying to steal the midterms, right? Trump's base is tired of him. His approval rating is at an all-time low. He has I think a 36% approval rating. MAGA is leaving in droves. There are MAGA voters that are saying they're voting Democrat in the upcoming election. Why? Because Trump and the Republican Party have just failed immensely. Right? Completely went and did the exact opposite of all their promises. He's not concerned with affordability. He's not concerned with the economic plight of the average American. What he's concerned with is enriching himself, his family, and his buddies. That's it. And people are finally seeing this guy for who the hell he is.
Himself in his tiny little mushroom cock. He really did. Oh, he's in trouble here, dog. He's in trouble. He knows it. He knows deep down that he's sort of cooked here. Okay. Trump absolutely crashed out over on Lie Social, over Iran driving a hard bargain and basically
Lie Social. That's funny. Trump, another thing, right? Trump is selling. He wants people to give him $100,000 a pop. Right? This guy is a is a used car salesman. Right? He's a snake oil salesman. This guy is a goddamn crook, to say the least. So he's selling for $100,000 a pop early access to his Truth Social posts, so that these people can trade on the market with insider trading. Didn't fucking Martha Stewart go to jail for that? I'm pretty sure insider trading is illegal, but no, right? We live in America, right, where the white man makes the rules and he breaks all his rules. This is the world that we live in. Man, oh man.
Saying like, we don't trust you, we don't want to work with you. And so he came out and said the following, ready? I see that representatives of the Islamic Republic of Iran are asking for compensation for the damage done to them during the last 5 months military conflict, started because they will not have a nuclear weapon, even though it was never mentioned in any of our negotiations or meetings. But it is an interesting idea because
he just be lying. What? You already agreed to the MOU, and the terms of the MOU were you lifting sanctions, them having control of the Strait of Hormuz, and pretty much everything. You literally folded. But what they did was they entered into those negotiations. They signed the MOU for the purpose of delaying the hostilities and having that ceasefire, because what? America is running out of missiles. That's all it was for.
now I am likewise demanding compensation from Iran, oh my days, for all the people that they have killed and gravely wounded with their roadside bombs and many conflicts for which they are famous, as led initially.
Many conflicts that they are famous. What conflicts has Iran been in as of recent? Iran got invaded by Iraq, and America supported Saddam for invading Iraq, and then, of course, turned on Saddam, all right, and killed him years later. Many conflicts. America has been a country, has been an entity for 250 years, and has been at war for all of those years except 16. America has had 16 years of peace out of 250. Like, what are we talking about?
By General Soleimani, including the families of those killed in the USS Cole and thousands of others killed in combat. Additionally, compensation should be paid to the families of the hundreds of thousands of innocent protesters that Iran has killed over the last 50 years. Not
like Trump, you don't give a fuck about no Iranian citizens that were killed in protests. And again, you in Israel, the CIA and Mossad, you are the ones that incited those protests, right, and incited those people to violence, in which Iran had to respond to said violence. Like, if you just watch Fox News and goddamn CNN and MSNBC, state-ran media, you are going to be brainwashed with Zionist, pro-Israeli, pro-American propaganda. That's what's going to happen.
To mention the 52,000 that have been killed in the last 5 months. Totally made up number, by the way. I have instructed my representative to put this firmly into any and all future negotiations. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yeah, you're really helping your case here, Don. You're really helping your case here. You're not making it worse for yourself. You're not digging your hole deeper. You're not, potentially signing up the world economy to be absolutely obliterated. By the way, this is not how it works. You don't get to wage an illegal and offensive war against a country that didn't attack us and then go, and now you got to pay me for it. What? Excuse me, was it Iran that bombed a little girls' school that we have here in the U.S.? Is that what happened? Oh, that's not what happened. Is it Iran that bombed U.S. roads and bridges? Is it Iran that bombed U.S. civilian infrastructure? Is that what happened? That's not what happened. Is it Iran that has their military bases surrounding the entire United States? No, that's not. We have our bases surrounding them. So fucking spare me with this shit.
Right? Again, it's the hypocrisy of the American democracy for me, right? Let's get this. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 5, right? It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Hundreds of bases all over the world in various different countries. They don't. America has to. When I think I was like maybe fourth grade, around like 2001 ish. There was a movie called Team America, like World Police or something like that. America has to be the world's police. They just have to be. They can never mind their business. And you got people right now in the mainstream media. They're upset at all these different DSA candidates or Democratic Socialists of America candidates who are advocating for policies that the overwhelming vast majority of Americans would like. Medicare for all, free childcare, things of that nature. And you got these people going on cable news, CNN, Fox, what have you, in corporate media, right? Zionist state regime media are grilling these people for their association with Hassan Piker, who is he's the nephew of Cenk Uygur, who is the host and the owner of TYT Network. He's a Twitch streamer. He's young, very popular, and he made statements that he walked back and said originally that America deserved 9/11. And I'll be honest, if you believe that 9/11 was truly the work of radical Muslims and not an inside job that America did as an excuse to go to war in Afghanistan, to then go to war in Iraq, all at the behest of who? Bibi Netanyahu. If you believe that happened because of Muslims just hate America, you're an idiot. But if that's what you believe, if you actually or had heard the reading of Osama bin Laden's this is what America has done and continues to do to this very day. If the things that America has done to other people were done unto us, was done unto America, America will blow the whole world up. But when people defend themselves from your aggression, they're labeled as terrorists. No, America is a terrorist state and has been a terrorist state. We as so-called black people know this all too well, right? Indigenous peoples of North, Central, and South America know this all too well. The white man, the Western European white man, has terrorized us for hundreds of years. We know this all too well. And America is the amalgamation, the culmination of just the worst of white people. That's the reality. So again, back in Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5, it says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, right? The grave, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? America literally went into Venezuela, kidnapped their president, stole billions of dollars of gold from their banks that Trump has in the offshore account, I believe in Qatar, or one of those GCC countries that only he controls. It's not something that's going to benefit the American people. No, it's going to enrich him. It says, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, right? This word for thick clay in the Hebrew means heavy pledges or heavy debts, right? So let's get back into it.
God damn it, I hate him so much. He's such an impulsive little brat. He's such like a toddler-like little weasel. And he thinks he can like tantrum his way out of any problem. No, again, you're just digging your hole deeper, you dipshit. God, I hate him so much. He's so unserious. He's so unserious. And you know this was him like sitting on the toilet at 4 a.m. just firing some shit out because he was angry at the state of the war. Again, only making it worse for himself. So if you're not going to agree to all of their demands, then go to shut the fuck upsville and sit there as you're casually responsible for the collapse of the global economy. All right. Iran has new intelligence warning of a major U.S.-Israeli ground and air operation against Iran, citing a rapid military buildup across Gulf bases per senior Iranian officials. Mohammed Marandi, the professor and advisor to Iran's negotiation team, adds Trump regime forces in Kuwait, the UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and Jordan are mobilizing for a potential blitzkrieg, possibly alongside Zionist forces against the Iranian people, warning the Islamic Republic stands ready with a swift and crushing response. Iran has previously warned of a major counter-response to a U.S. ground attack, saying if the United States puts boots on the ground in Iran, we will also launch ground attacks on Kuwait and Bahrain. Iranian analyst Mahdi Khanalzadeh also warned that Iran has plans of a ground incursion to seize U.S. bases, such as Camp Buring, Camp Arifjan, or Ali al-Salem. Jesus Christ. The other thing they could do is, if there's...
This is going to be a shit show, man. Let me tell you, this is a shit show. And I'm here for it, because the more and more Babylon continues to crumble, the closer and closer we are to its ultimate demise and fall, which is synonymous with the deliverance of the children of Israel, right? We got to get out of here, man. Like, do y'all ever just like be just out and about, driving around, walking around, and just see our people just homeless, bugged out on all types of drugs? Like, I live in Philadelphia. There's a place called Kensington that locals call the beach. You want to know why they call it the beach? Because you got people outside laid out like it's the goddamn beach, high on fentanyl, high on heroin, just leaned over like goddamn zombies. That's the world that we live in. That's the reality for our people, right? Now, of course, you got a bunch of white people, right, who are caught up in that. And now that's why it's called a pandemic, right? It's an epidemic. But when y'all flooded our neighborhoods with heroin in the 50s, right? When y'all flooded our neighborhoods with cocaine, right, and crack cocaine in the 80s, in the 90s, right? Oh, lock them, super predators, right? If a crackhead had crack on them, of this place.
There's a ground invasion, they could immediately launch on all of like the oil infrastructure in the Gulf countries. They could immediately go after the water that they have there, just to say like, look, you crossed a red line and now there's no going back. If it's essential to our government's survival, then we will also make it existential for the other governments in the region, for their survival. And so perhaps he's talking. So is
Now, mind you,
having this conversation
they attack
at
all
this point.
of the infrastructure
Now,
for oil
why is
in the Gulf,
all of this?
gas gonna be through. Running out. Gas. This is going to, of course, further this global economic crisis, which is going to give rise to the implementation of the mark of the beast. Right, that's what we're waiting for. And as we get closer and closer, it's going to be more and more and more uncomfortable, family. Right, so buckle up. Right, stay prayed up. Keep them commandments so that the Most High God will protect you and your family.
So pressing and such an important issue? Well, because of this. U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve crude oil inventories have officially fallen below 300 million barrels for the first time since 1983, a 43-year low, with inventories declining another 6.1 million barrels last week to 298.7 million barrels. At the current drawdown rate, the SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, will hit the congressional minimum of 252.4 million barrels in 8 weeks or less, with 46.3 million barrels remaining to go. Iran declared it will wait out the Trump administration until January 20th, 2029, but Iran likely doesn't need to wait that long, with the U.S. SPR running out in weeks, forcing Trump's hand well before 2029. And this is why this is such a dangerous moment. His only options are to hold the big, fat, juicy L and then lie and pretend like he won, but hold the L, give Iran what they want, and open up the strait with them collecting taxes or fees for it. Or some insane psychotic escalation that's not going to work, which is going to lead to death, destruction, and the global economy continuing to collapse. But either way, unless he just gives Iran what they want, agree,
or he's going to use a tactical nuke, and that's going to be a disastrous choice, because what's going to happen? You're going to wake up China, you're going to wake up Russia, and America cannot handle those problems. Cannot handle those problems.
To all of the terms, then we're looking at gas prices going up to $6, $7 a gallon. We're looking at a global economic catastrophe. And so we're really, really getting to the end of the road here, y'all. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how else to get it across. Okay. Now, at the same time, Iran's IRGC announces its missiles have now been upgraded and have the capability to change course mid-flight to evade enemy air defense systems, the IRGC spokesperson tells Fars. The IRGC adds Iranian missiles can also be reassigned to a secondary target mid-flight, even after a specific target has been designated. The upgrade includes Iran's Kibar-Shaykan ballistic missile, Fatah-1 and Fatah-2 hypersonic missiles, and the Imad ballistic missile. So yet again, another example of their capabilities being far above and beyond what we thought their capabilities were. Let's not forget, they're also getting help with intelligence from China. And we simply were not prepared for an enemy that is this ready. And now that's what they got going on.
Iran has been prepared for this war for 40 years. For 40 years, they've been preparing for this. So they know hardship. Americans don't know hardship. Like, for real, Americans don't. Americans today don't know real hardship, right? We don't know, like, the Great Depression type of hardship. It's going to be worse than the Great Depression.
Going on over there. What do we have going on? Well, ProPublica has this amazing article here, and they talk about a factory that got a massive U.S. government subsidy. Taxpayers funded $533 million for this. And, quote, the facility never produced a
here. All right, here we go.
Is the U.S. military-industrial complex is a slush fund for corporations in the Epstein class to get rich. So, our missiles cost millions of dollars per missile.
And they got $20,000 drones that our missiles can't even stop.
Right? Our defense systems cost millions of dollars per interceptor, for example. And you go look at where that money goes, and it's like, well, a lot of it is just being skimmed off the top. A lot of it is just like people getting rich and not providing anything. This is a caught red-handed type situation here, where taxpayers paid $533 million and not a single usable shell was created. And this is why, by the way, The Pentagon has failed 8 audits in a row, and they can't account for 63% of their money. This is why right here. We are never going to win actual wars when this is the state of affairs. When we're not actually preparing.
This is the last war America will be involved in, right? We're in World War III. This is the shebang, the big shebang. And it's going to end in America being shebanged out of oblivion. All right. What's interesting about watching, a lot of these guys, right? Different independent media, Kyle here, Young Turks, Redacted, Midas Touch, Breaking Points, all these different platforms, is they're so optimistic about, okay, when the Democrats bring the midterms, impeaching Trump, and the election in 2020. All right, Shalawam family. Salaki, man, I'm having some technical difficulties. Oh yeah. Fios, count your days. I called up Fios the other day, and I was getting ready to switch because I've just been having issues with my speed, and Fios been charging me $95 a month for the past God knows how long years. When I first signed up with them, it was like $85 a month. All right, whatever. Then randomly it just goes with the goddamn $85 a month. And been having all these issues with my speeds. So I ended up getting them to bring my bill down, and they sent me another extender. I literally have an extender right here. Set the shit up, and as soon as I plugged in those damn extenders, my internet is worse. How does that work? Right? But yeah, I'm about to switch to goddamn Xfinity because this is just not it, man. This is not it. But let's get back into it.
Have control. We have total control. We own it. And at some point, maybe they'll do something and then they get blown away. But right now, we're in a very good position.
What? Yo, this guy is so delusional. Hold on.
I trust Iran. I'm the last person to trust Iran. They've lied to me constantly. We have total
Trump, all you do is lie.
Control over the Hormuz Strait right now. They don't have control. We have total control. We own it.
How do you own it? If you own it, why are no ships coming through? If you own it. Like, what are we talking about? Why are our strategic reserves so low? If we control and own the Hormuz Strait, like, this guy is just a pathological liar.
And at some point, maybe they'll do something and then they get blown away. But
do something and they'll get blown away. This nigga's probably going to use a nuke, man. This guy is unreal.
Right now, we're in a very good position. We have a country that has been the bully of the Middle East for 50 years. It's really 51 if you think about it, right? We've been saying 47 for 4 years. And they're no longer the bully of the Middle East. Thank you very much, everybody.
Like, literally all of that was just lie. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. So, look, make no mistake about it. Trump is panicking and Iran is poised for this thing to continue. Trump is caught flat-footed. He doesn't know what to do. And it's all catching up to him now, man. It is all catching up to him now, and there is no way out. Hey, y'all, do me.
So, again, they're saying that they're ready to push this thing to 2029, right? Because the election in 2020 should be an election in 2028. And then the new president, whoever wins, it can't be Trump legally, right? Will get inaugurated in January of 2029. So they said, well, yeah, we're going to wait to 2029 and we'll negotiate with the next president of the U.S. Great plan for Iran, right? Great plan for Iran. But yeah, no. Just go ahead and just let's wrap this up, right? Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this American thing up, please. Let's make Babylon fall again, man. That would be great. So now, the topic for today, right? The topic that I truly wanted to talk about originally when I scheduled this live, right? Trump, of course, has been talking all this talk about, oh, we need Greenland. We need it for security purposes, right? Russia, China, we need it. We need Greenland. And if you haven't been paying attention, right, our people, right, of the tribe of Manasseh down there in Cuba are going through it, right? They have rolling blackouts every day, right? There's sanctions on countries to send them oil. Once America invaded Venezuela, they're preventing them from sending oil to Cuba. I don't know why America has a hard-on for Cuba, right? I guess because they're communists. But who fucking cares? You do business with China, they're technically still communists. What are we even talking about? But this is Babylon. Like this is Babylon. So nothing makes sense here. So our people in Cuba are going through it, and I don't know why Trump wants to potentially invade Cuba. Like, I don't think Cuba has oil reserves or anything of the sorts. I'm not sure, right? But Trump's into real estate. He wants some resorts, and he wants to be able to, get rich. That's the reason why this guy is ran for office, so that he can enrich himself and his family and his friends. So, right, will Trump invade Greenland and Cuba? Right, that's the question. We got these NATO leaders, right? We got the king of Holland, because Greenland is owned by Holland, right? So, and they're part of what? NATO. So if Trump invades a NATO country, boy, oh boy, does that have ton of implications. All right. All right. So let's get into it.
Is kind of a big deal, and nobody's really talking about it. But The Guardian says Greenland issues strong warning as Trump-linked oil firm prepares to drill. Island's government says no approval given after Greenland Energy brings kit ashore for exploratory drilling. Okay, so what's happening here is the U.S. is illegally going to sovereign territory that is Greenland's, and they're starting to drill with no approval whatsoever. They've been given multiple warnings. Don't you dare drill on our territory without our approval. And Trump is like, fuck it, we're going to do it anyway. So as people are pointing out, this appears to be...
Imagine that. Just imagine that. You just go into someone else's... Imagine just going into your neighbor's backyard, right? Going into your neighbor's backyard, right? And you just start digging holes in their backyard. For what purpose? Who knows, right? Or you just go into your neighbor's backyard and you're back there building something. Who the hell are you to come on my property and dig or build anything on my property? But hey, it's the little horn. It's the great whore America, Babylon. This, and of course, we got the perfect idiot in Donald Trump as the leader.
Be the beginning of Trump's attempt to take Greenland, to own Greenland. And he said the other day, we're going to take it, quote, no matter what. That's what he said. Okay. An American oil company connected to Donald Trump is preparing to sink wells in remote Greenland despite not having received permission from the local authorities. As the U.S. president renews his threats to claim the vast Arctic territory, materials to prepare for drilling were brought ashore in recent days on Greenland's eastern coast. That has prompted Greenland's government to issue a strong warning that no approval has been granted to land the kit. All future logistical matters must be advised and approved by the Mineral Resource Authority before they are carried out, the government said in a statement. 2 days later, Trump made his latest menacing post on Truth Social, showing himself looming over a Greenlandic village. It says, "Hello, Greenland," and you see the Greenland village here. Now, what did I tell you guys?
This guy is so unserious, man. Oh my God, Donald Trump is something else. Let me tell you, he is something else. Like, all praise to the Most High. This guy, he was the catalyst to me, I would say, coming into the truth, right? So, I was born and raised in New York, right? Was baptized when I was 6. Was raised in church my whole life, for the most part. I would say in high school, like, we didn't go to church as much, but we did. I went to church relatively frequently throughout my entire adolescence. Went to college, and when I went to college, I didn't have a church in Philadelphia that I regularly went to. I was on the gospel choir, and that was the extent of my church while I was in school. And of course, while I was in school, I was party, bullshitting, living life, being the center. And I graduated, and it was I graduated in 2015. In 2016, we had the election. Trump getting elected rocked my world. I can literally remember the day after election day 2016, right? It was a dark, dreary, just nasty day here in Philadelphia. And I remember pulling up to the parking lot of my office, and I just sat there. I was depressed. Right? went upstairs to the office. I didn't do no work that whole day. I just like, there's no way in God's green earth that this idiot is about to be the president, right? And I said, yeah, man, if this nigga is president, I said, man, the world's about to end. So I said, I need more Jesus in my life. So I started going back to church. Started getting back into my Bible, right? Started changing my life. Then, of course, came into the understanding that we were the Israelites. Was still a follower of Christianity for a good amount of time. And then that ultimately led me to discover brothers of the One West ilk on the street corners bringing out the word. And I was like, oh, this is the truth. This is what I've been looking for. So it was Donald Trump getting elected in 2016 that was 10 years ago. That was the catalyst to me getting back into the scriptures and finding my path and making my way into the knowledge of the truth. So all praise to the Most High for getting this idiot in office again to just tear Babylon down. All praise to the Most High.
I have been warning you guys for so long. A lot of you guys believe me, but a lot of you guys were maybe skeptical. Trump means it. All this shit he says, he means it. So when he threatens, for example, Greenland or Panama or Canada or Cuba or Mexico or any of the numerous countries that he's threatened, he actually wants to do some shit with those countries. He actually wants to take those countries. He actually wants to, he even said he wants to reinvade Afghanistan to retake Bagram Air Base. He means it. Now, granted, it's all brain farts and he just like vomits it out on a regular basis. But when he says it, he fucking means it, okay? And it's something to fear. Why? Because this is the same guy who killed 180 or more innocent fishermen in the Caribbean and on the Pacific. Okay.
I mentioned that earlier, right? You got all these fishermen, right, in the Caribbean, right? Again, our people getting murdered by America because they're suspected of drug trafficking. No proof, no due process, none of that. Oh, they're black and brown? Oh, they're using boats? They gotta be smuggling cocaine and fentanyl into America. That's the world we live in, family, right? So, again, Jacob's trouble. Jacob, we are in trouble, but we will be saved out of it. And when I say that, I mean those of us who actually turn from transgression in Jacob. This is why our people need to come back and keep the Most High God's commandments. Because that's the only thing that's going to deliver you. The only thing that's going to save you. Keeping the commandments, which includes having faith in Christ. That's what's going to deliver you. Faith and works. Okay? When you don't keep the God's commandments, when you don't fear the Lord, he does not send his angels to protect us. Right? Psalms 34:7, one of my favorite scriptures. The angel of the Lord encampeth around about them that fear him. Right? Scriptures also say that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. How does one have power? How does one have love? How does one have a sound mind? Our power comes from us being connected to our power, our God, right? The word God means power. Isaiah 59:1-2 says that our sins, our iniquity separates us from our God or separates us from our power, right? What is love? Hereby do we know that we love the children of God when we love God and keep his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. 1 John chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. Or 5, 2 and 3, right? Loving God is synonymous with keeping the commandments. So if you have the spirit of fear, it's because you're afraid for a reason, because you don't have power, right? You don't have true love, which is keeping the commandments, which protects you. It gives you the protection of our God and his angels, right? And a sound mind. Right now on social media, especially on TikTok, there is this huge conversation about so-called cisgender women and transgender women and all this stuff, right? And you got like, there's a sister in the truth. Her name is YAHAWAH. Shout out to that sister. She's been going viral on TikTok. And people are mad because she says she don't want to deal with no man that's bisexual. So they're calling her homophobic, right? They try to drag her, right? When she said, I'm not rocking with all that transgender nonsense, right? You got people, right, who aren't necessarily part of the LGBT community, but they call themselves allies, right? Trying to get on this sister and other sisters like her because they don't want to deal with none of that nonsense. Our people don't have sound minds because their minds have been grasped in this white supremacist world, right? White supremacy has a hold on their minds. And the LGBTQ agenda is a tool of white supremacy at the end of the day. So again, our people don't have a sound mind, and this is why people, the vast majority of our people, are going to die, are going to be destroyed in these plagues that are hitting Egypt, Babylon, America, because they don't have that blood on their doorposts, right? If you don't keep the commandments of God, you don't have the blood on your doorposts. And when the Most High God sends that death angel to come in and wreak havoc, if you don't got that blood on your doorposts, you don't got that spiritual blood on your doorposts, listen, you're gonna be caught lacking, man. And that's what's happening to our people.
Okay, there's the same guy who kidnapped a sovereign leader of Venezuela and stole their gold and their oil and took $13 billion, put it in a private bank account that only he controls. Okay, he already bombed Yemen. He already bombed Somalia and Nigeria and Ecuador. And these are like, people aren't even paying attention to this shit. So now there was already a diplomatic crisis with Greenland because he was like, it came to a fever pitch where he was saying, we're definitely taking that bitch. And then what happened is the fucking EU had to get together to come up with plans to blow up the airports in Venezuela to make it, or excuse me, not Venezuela, in Greenland to make it so that the US cannot land there.
Imagine that. Imagine that's the solution. Let me tell you something, right? And let's demonstrate how this ties in with the scriptures, right? So, Book of Revelation, chapter 17, right? And let me go. And this is all good, right? We're going to read from the top, right? So Revelation chapter 17, verse 1. It says, and there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked to me, saying unto me, come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, right? Prophetically, waters signify multitudes of people, okay? America is known as the great melting pot. There's various different nations of people here in America, right? Verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been drunken with the wine of her fornication, right? Americanism, right? Which is rooted in white supremacy. This is what the world runs on. Why? Because the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. And who's that? The Edomites, white people, right? So verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names and blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? So this beast that it's sitting upon is the revised Roman Empire, right? Now, when we look at Daniel, the 7th chapter, the beast is said to have, that beast that's dreadful, it doesn't say it has 7 heads. It says it has 10 horns. So this beast is the revised Roman Empire, right? And it has 7 heads, and it has the 10 horns, okay? It says, and a woman was arrayed in purple. Who is this woman? This woman is the great whore. This is Babylon the Great, right? Which is the equivalent of the little horn that we read about in Daniel chapter 7. Okay, it goes on to say the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked in gold with precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Right? What America pushes nothing but abominations. I was born in the month of June. I hate the fact that I was born in the month of June because the month of June is now Pride Month. LGBTQ Pride Month, right? This is what America pushes, right? America pushes all types of abomination, right? We got things like Red Lobster, right? Everything is abominable here, right? It goes on to say, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. So as Kyle's about to go into, right, what he mentioned is that America murdered 180 fishermen in the Caribbean. Some of those people are the saints, the Israelites. America was built off the blood, sweat, and tears, off the bodies of so-called blacks and so-called indigenous peoples. This country was stolen from the natives. They stole black people from Africa, brought us over here after they don't damn near wiped out our indigenous brothers out. And then they brought us over here and built this country off of our blood, sweat, and tears. The blood of the saints, right? It says, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, Yahawashi, and when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and the end of the beast that carrieth her, which hath 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. Right? What is this bottomless pit? Europe. Europe is the bottomless pit. Yesterday, when I was on TikTok, I had some silly nigga, right, trying to tell me about prophecy. He gonna go to Revelation 20. I asked him, what's the bottomless pit? Nigga couldn't tell me what the bottomless pit is. You can't make this up, right? So this beast is ascending out of the bottomless pit, which is Europe. Why? Because Europe lacks natural resources. Hence why Europeans went all around the world and colonized people for what? Natural resources, right? Colonialism, you set up colonies, and the colonies send back the resources back to what? The mother country, okay? It goes on to say, where was I? It says, and go into perdition, destruction, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is, right? Because again, Rome was a thing, then it became not a thing, and now it is a thing again, right? That's Western Europe, okay? And it says, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads and the 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue for a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. Right. So the 7th is talking about Britain. This 8th is America. Right. It goes on to say, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. Right. These 10 kings represent the 10 common markets that made up the original EU, which is known as the European Economic Community, or the EEC. Okay. It goes on to say, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast, meaning for just a short time. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So now it goes into the victory of the Lamb. Therefore, these shall make war with the Lamb, right? So Western European powers are going to make war with Christ, right? And the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and kings of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Again, America, the great melting pot. Verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So when we look at Western Europe, they're going to turn on America. Why? Because America under Donald Trump has been slighting their own allies, right? Macron can't stand Donald Trump. The president of Spain, can't stand that nigga. The freaking prime minister of Italy can't stand that nigga. Why? Because Donald Trump is insufferable. And Holland, right, which owns Greenland, they're in NATO too. They're part of that beast. They're part of the Western European power structure. If America invades a NATO country's territory, what do you think is going to happen? It's further driving that wedge and that hatred of the horns for the whore. America's the whore. The horns are the Western European powers. And not to mention, the whore is controlled by who? The great pimp, the Zionist state of Israel, which the horns, they can't stand Bibi Netanyahu in the Israeli government. They're not rocking with them. So all of this stuff, like I said, has prophetic implications. We just got to watch and pray and measure the time diligently within itself, right? We are very close, all right? It goes on to say, for God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. America is the hegemon, rules over the kings of the earth right now, right? When we look at the imagery of this beast, which represents a kingdom, riding a beast that's made up of other kingdoms, when you ride a beast like a horse or a donkey, if you're riding it, you control it. But guess what? That beast, that horse, can buck you off, right? I think the guy who played Superman back in like the 60s and 70s and whatnot, he ended up getting kicked off a horse. I think he got paralyzed and died, something like that, right? Listen, this beast about to buck the whore off and burn her with fire. So this is what a time to be alive, family. What a time to be alive.
That's how close, that's how much they're done with us and how much they realize we're a threat. And now it looks like we're illegally going after their oil. Okay, as he's continuing to post menacing threats. This man needs to get the fuck out of our White House, bro. He needs to get the fuck.
No, he needs to stay right there. Donald Trump needs to stay right in office. You hear me?
Out of the Oval Office. He has no business being there. He's destroyed everything about this country, including any alliances we had are now donezo. It is over. Even if a good Democratic president gets in there and tries to rehabilitate these, they're going to say, look, that's cool and all, but what happens the next time a Republican gets elected and they try to copy Trump and they try to steal our resources? We might like you. We might agree with you. We might make a deal with you, but the Republicans will just go in there and rip it up. We are done as the world's sole superpower. It is over.
You heard it from Esau himself, man. It's over. It is over, man. Jane Spitfire. I don't know what's going to happen in 2033. Lord willing, the kingdom of heaven will be established on the earth well before then. That would be lovely. No man knows the day of the hour. So I can't really answer that question, right? But Lord willing, the kingdom of heaven is established on earth. and things are turned right side up. Because right now we live in a topsy-turvy world where up is down, left is right, right is wrong, wrong is right. That's the world that we live in. We need the world put back in order, right? We need a Thanos level intervention in this world, right? And that's what's going to happen when Christ returns. All the kings of the earth, right, their armies will be destroyed. Okay, especially the superpowers, right? Your Western European powers, Russia, China, they're getting taken out of power, right? And the heathen are going to be put in their rightful place in subjection to the children of Israel, right? When Christ returns, he's going to have a kingdom and dominion where all people's languages shall serve him, and his dominion will be an everlasting dominion.
They say executives of Greenland Energy, a Texas company set up last year. Oh my days. It's a Texas company called Greenland Energy. Have claimed that $11 trillion of crude may lie beneath the Jameson Land region. They announced plans to spend $60 million drilling 2 wells to find out. Although Greenland stopped issuing new oil licenses in 2021 on environmental grounds, a UK company called 80 Mile had secured exploration rights in Jameson Land. Greenland Energy's corporate filings say it will take a majority stake in the project in exchange for funding the exploration, though it still needs government permission to proceed. Greenland Energy has retained Phil McGraw, better known as Dr. Phil, a prominent right-wing former chat show host who served on Trump's Religious Freedom Commission, to make a documentary series that will capture the mission of these modern-day wildcatters. Who would have thought that
Dr. Phil? What the fuck is going on, bro? This is insane, man. You can't make this shit up.
Dr. Phil would be involved in the Nazi-like invasion and stealing of sovereign territory. It has also appointed as a director a U.S. Navy veteran who is working on Golden Dome, which is nothing but a fucking scam, the missile defense plan for which Trump says controlling Greenland is vital. Larry Sweats, whatever, Greenland Energy's chair and a big shareholder, appears to enjoy access to Trump's circle. He has said the oil project is not related to America's annexation after a company representative falsely claimed at a Jameson Land
we believe that
land community meeting in June that had permission to land drilling equipment. Sweat said, our enthusiasm for the project led us to communicate in a way that created confusion. But the next month, local people in the sparsely populated region noticed a tug pulling a barge shorewards and unloading a dozen containers. The goal was to get the equipment on shore at Nunapqueka, Jameson Island, in connection with planned oil exploration drilling.
Again, imagine if, I just ran out of space, in my house, in my shed. You know what? I'm just going to go to my neighbor's backyard and I'm going to put a shed there and just throw some of my stuff into their backyard. That's what America is doing. That's what this American company, this Texas company, is doing. This is what they did. They just went into a sovereign country and territory, right? That's not theirs, and just put their property on there. This is insane. You can't make this shit up.
The Greenland government statement said. The Danish investigative outlet Danwatch quoted the head of the shipping company as confirming the delivery was for Greenland Energy. So this is all illegal. Greenland Energy has declined to respond to questions from The Guardian. A letter it sent to shareholders on Thursday said, recent high-level meetings between project leadership and Greenlandic regulatory and oversight authorities have been constructive, and we continue to be encouraged by the progress being made toward the remaining approvals required for drilling. It said that after those discussions, just one well would be drilled to begin with. As a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark, decisions about Greenland's natural resources...
I've been saying Holland, Denmark, not Holland, Denmark. Slovakia
rests with its local elected leaders who now face a delicate decision. They could grant permission for oil drilling even though the planned wells appear to fall within a conservation area protected by the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, or they could refuse, and some worry, give Trump a pretext to advance his imperialist agenda. In other words, you have to submit, and if you don't, we're just going to take it like we're Nazis. The Greenland government statement said it would not be proportionate to demand the equipment be removed. An application for permission remained under processing, it added. A Greenland energy representative has said a vessel carrying its 300 shipping containers of drilling equipment is set to sail from Canada on September 12th. Sinking the wells would begin in October. Jeff Landry, the hard-right Louisiana governor serving as Trump's Greenland envoy, has said Greenland could be pumping oil next year. Jesus Christ. By the way, let's remember, Peter Thiel and the AI tech demons, they want Greenland to be one of their playgrounds. In the same way, they had an island off the coast of Honduras that they were basically allowed to steal, and they try to make it this libertarian paradise. They want Greenland for that same reason.
Now, what's also interesting is a small hat. I think his name is Matt Lauder, right? SD Lauder. Son. Ronald Lauder is his name, right? So SD Lauder, right? I think it's a cosmetic line, right? Famous line or whatever. Her son, whose name is Robert Lauder, he is a small hat. He's an American businessman. He's a billionaire, right? According to 2026 Forbes, he is worth $4.9 billion, right? So he's the one who gave Trump the grand old idea of trying to take Greenland. Of course, Amalek is in the midst.
They want to make it a freedom city. They want to make it so it's their own sovereign territory, and they have data centers that are built there, and they have the natural cooling of the climate there, which helps them out with the data centers. This is all on the record. All of this is on the record. Trump is trying to create the technate of America, which is expanding U.S. territory, our imperial footprint. And this is another clear example. He's doing exactly that. Okay, now here's Farron Cousins, and he's going to come out here, and he's going to explain, as he says in this video, Trump declares he's taking Greenland no matter what. This is from a couple days ago. Here we go.
During a recent podcast appearance, Donald Trump once again insisted that before he leaves office, the United States is going to control the territory of Greenland. We are going to be taking it away from Denmark one way or another. We don't know how yet, but it will be ours because we desperately need it. Even though obviously we've, been just fine without it. We somehow, right this very moment, now desperately need Greenland. But here's what happened.
As if that is, we desperately need it. As if that is an excuse or justification for invading and just taking people's land. But this is America for you, family. This is Babylon the Great whore.
But he was on with Real America's Voice host Steve Gruber. And Steve Gruber said, I made a prediction on this program that before you left office that Greenland would be under our operational control. And Trump responded saying, you'll be right. They want to do something. Greenland is important from our standpoint, not from their standpoint. You should make that bet. They want to do something, he said. And then he admitted, it's not important for them. But they still want to do something. Yeah, they do want to do something. They want to prevent you from ever stepping foot in their country ever again. That's what they want to do. Greenland hates you. And we have seen that multiple times throughout your administration when you've sent your little envoys over there and they actually had to pay people to take the MAGA hats and still ended up throwing them in the trash. They don't like you. And they do not want to be a part of the United States. Nor do we need them to be a part of the United States. As I said, the United States has been getting along just fine without controlling Greenland. There has not suddenly emerged a need to take over the country so that we can, monitor the Arctic, because we can already do that from Greenland because they've given us permission to do it. We've got military bases there.
And in classic Trump fashion, is not enough. Why? Because he's all about the dominance.
Again, it's not enough. What did the Bible say when we read Habakkuk chapter 2? Neither keepeth at home. He enlargeth his desire as hell and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied. Right? America, Babylon the Great, cannot be satisfied. This place is insatiable.
Nation and the humiliation and expanding our imperial footprint. He's all about colonialism. He's all about rolling the clock back to old school imperialism. And so even though we functionally had control of Greenland, he wants to make it official. He wants to actually steal it. He wants to invade it. And then he wants to jack all of their natural resources. People, again, it's hard to really understand the psychology of a malignant narcissist and a fascist like Trump. But you should know by now, looking at
that's a fact. It is. I can't wrap my mind around how someone like Donald Trump thinks. There's a lot of people. I just cannot wrap my mind around why niggas do the things that they do. Like within the Hebrew Israelite community. Last year, we know what happened, right? The great expose. I can't wrap my mind around why a grown-ass man would want what some niggas want. I just can't wrap my mind around it. It's insane to even think about. But again, as it comes to Trump, like, this guy is unfreaking real. He has dementia. He's a narcissist. He's a malignant narcissist, and he has dementia, right? Like my brother Nicholas Jacobs said, the pride of Esau. These people are proud as all hell. And know what they say. And by they, the scriptures, pride goeth before destruction.
Venezuela, looking at Iran, looking at the carpet bombing of all these different places, looking at the self-dealing and the corruption, that should wake you up to the evil that we're dealing with.
For that specific purpose. Okay? So everything that Republicans have said we need Greenland for, we already have. So we don't actually need to control it. What they're not telling us, of course, is the real reason they want Greenland. It has nothing to do with the military. It has nothing to do with monitoring Russia and China, as they always say. It's about the vast mineral reserves that Greenland sits on. We want that because we're a very greedy-ass government, and we want to sell it to the highest bidder and make a lot of money.
100% right. The New York Times had this. As pressure mounts, the U.S. hunts for Cuba's next leader. Some officials warn that a more hardline leader could emerge if the Trump administration moves forward with its plans. And Nathan J. Robinson says,
So now we're talking about Cuba. And again, we went into it. Jeremiah 30, Jacob's trouble. Our people are going through it right now down there. Going through it. People are, like, they don't have enough oil. They don't have... Oil is necessary to generate electricity, right? I used to be in solar, right? I used to be in solar, and I would go to people's homes and, of course, get them signed up and sell them solar packages and whatnot. And I had to educate people on how their energy, how their electricity is generated. All right, I live in Philly, right? We have Pico, right? You got I'm from New York City. You got Con Edison, right? Whatever your utility is in your hometown, your jurisdiction, they own the grid. They generate the power, right? Power is generated on large scales. Like our homes, we consume what's called kilowatt hours of energy. What suppliers and they generate a bunch of energy in like megawatts, like huge amounts of energy that you can't even just fathom, right? And they sell it in bulk to suppliers. So if you ever look on your electric bill, you have generation charges and then you have supplier charges. The supply in Pennsylvania is deregulated, so you can choose your provider, right? And if you want to be savvy and help save money, what you want to do is shop your rates, right? And set yourself up for reminders. But when they're generating this power, they're burning fossil fuels by and large, right? For instance, did a lot of work here in PA, right? And then, of course, in Jersey. In Jersey, just last year, they decommissioned 2 nuclear power plants. And New Jerseyans saw 18 and 20% rate increases. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, they just raised our rates, I think, in June. I forget by how much. Last January, or was it? Yeah, last January they increased our rates by like 11%. And the September before that, they increased our rates by another 11%. So the cost of electricity is going to continue to go up and up and up as the cost of oil continues to go up. See why this whole war in Iran, this Strait of Hormuz situation, how it affects us every day. The average nigga is lives their life, right? Like we be hitting the mall, right? Hitting the mall, trying to talk to our people about what's going on, right? To give them the breakdown, show them who they are. Niggas just want to just shop, have a good time, party, bullshit, right? Don't realize that, listen, man, you could barely keep your lights on at home, and your rate's going to continue to go up and up and up and up. This war is making that even worse. So now down in Cuba, because they don't have oil, they don't have electricity. Even in hospitals, generators are failing, and people are dying. Jacob is in trouble.
Not even the faintest pretense of caring about democracy. And Luke Savage says, even by the standards of the U.S. media, this headline is completely insane. So here we are. It looks like the first move was already made to officially take Greenland. And now there's also open talk about taking Cuba directly. I don't even know, bro. I think they're going to go for both of them, but I'm curious which one they're going to go for first. And this is all in the midst of losing an illegal war of aggression against Iran. Completely and utterly unhinged. In a world that made sense, Trump...
So it makes sense. America is already lost and is losing with Iran. And the aftermath of it is the global economy is in the shitter because of what America has done. America in the Zionist state of Israel. So because the Strait of Hormuz is closed, which controls 20% of the world's oil production and traffic within the global market, this is affecting the price of oil and ultimately the price of gas and the price of everything, because oil does not just produce gas. Jet fuel, flights, expensive as hell. Plastic is made from oil. A lot of the things that we consume, food, is packaged in plastic. So that's a cost that goes into the production and the storage and the shipping of things. Then you got to think about actually shipping food to places, moving goods and services, oil. So because we have all these high-ass gas prices and 20% of the world's oil is just off the market because the Strait of Hormuz is closed, the global economy is suffering everywhere. So wherever the children of Israel are throughout the four corners of the earth, we're feeling the effects of the decisions that are made by the rulers of this world. This is why the scriptures say, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Man, this is insane.
And all of his goons would be immediately impeached, immediately removed, and immediately locked up from now until the day they die. Because this, you want high crimes and misdemeanors. You want to talk about high crimes and misdemeanors? How about multiple illegal wars without even a pretense of a civilizing mission? It is all about imperialism, colonialism, stealing, theft, just disgusting crime after crime after crime. I mean, we've never seen anything like this in modern American history, and everybody's catching on to it. But now it's time to actually do something about it. That's the show, man. Love.
So yeah, family, there it is. That's what's going on, right? So it's clear that we are in the end times, family, right? We got all these earthquakes all over the place. The Ring of Fire is on fire. You got volcanic eruptions all over the place. when we look at the book of Revelation, it says that 1/3 of men will die. We live in a world of 8 billion people, roughly. 2.3 billion people are going to die. Man, this is insane, man. Absolutely insane. Like I said, what a time to be alive. It's important for brothers and sisters to stay locked in, stay 10 toes down, stay down for your crown, right? Keep the commandments, keep the faith in who the world calls Jesus Christ and Yahawashi. And we got to endure until the end, man. Again, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at LionOfYahawah. My Facebook is Yasharahla, right? If it's on your heart and you want to either super chat or do a super thanks, you can also donate via Cash App, which is down here as well. Again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Once the live is over, make sure you hype the video, right? Hype the video. It helps me a ton by pushing the video in the algorithm. And this is how we can push this word and push this message and this truth to our people. So do your part, family. Smash that like button. Share with a Christian. Share with your family. Share with your friends. Right? Like I said, hype that video. Make sure that you're tapped in, actually, because we got a bunch of stuff coming in the next couple of days. Let me just pull this up real quick. Let's go back here. Boom. So again, make sure you tapped in with the channel, man. Ton of stuff coming up, right? So if you haven't watched this, right, is Donald Trump the Antichrist? I dive into the phrase Antichrist, where it appears scripturally, right? Word Antichrist appears only in the book of John, not book of John, the book of 1 John and the book of 2 John. So John's epistles. And John says that they're presently, so 2,000 years ago, there were presently many antichrists. Christians somehow think that there is a singular, the Antichrist, which they get from, of course, Paul's epistles in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, which talks about a son of perdition, right? So I go into breaking down how the son of perdition and this is not the equivalent of the Antichrist. So make sure you tap in with that. On Monday, similar style video, right, where I'm doing pre-recording, doing the commentary, right? Got scriptures, visuals for the scriptures, audio for the scriptures that are being addressed. Going into 1 Corinthians 10 and 9, which Hebrew Christolites and so-called Christians attempt to use to prove the Trinitarian doctrine. Absolute nonsense and bonkers, right? Hold on real quick. I'm address that in a minute. All praise to the Most High, right? So make sure you tap in with this great lesson coming up on Monday. On Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? Some of y'all, some of y'all keep Friday, Saturday, Sabbath. This will be a perfect video to watch during your Sabbath, right? A couple hours of me just slicing up Christians on TikTok, right? Again, make sure you follow me on TikTok. I've been going live on Wednesdays. I think I'm going to try to do maybe 2 days to go live on TikTok because the smoke is there on TikTok, all right? But yeah, got that coming. And again, I've released a membership here on the channel, right? Become a member, okay? Become a member. Get access to my old catalog of videos from my days in Sakari. Some of these videos, there are going to be videos that are members first, and then they'll be made public. But for the most part, any of my street teaching things of that nature is going to only stay on members only, because I don't want people to see me with any association with Sakari whatsoever, right? Sister Chantel says, "What time on TikTok?" So I'm typically going to go live on TikTok on Wednesdays around 9 p.m. ish, right? Man, I was on live yesterday for 4 hours. I didn't get off until like 2 something in the morning. Oh my God, I was so tired. But yeah, what you should do, right, I do have a broadcast channel, right? I have a broadcast channel. On Instagram. Let me see if I can find it. Actually, profile. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Let's see. Boom, right here. So this is the broadcast channel, right? Make sure you tap in and join the broadcast channel here on Instagram, right? I'll let y'all know when I'm going live, when videos are dropping. So this is how you'll be notified of what's going on, because sometimes YouTube won't give notifications for YouTube stuff. And of course, TikTok is separate. So I'll let you know when I'm going live on TikTok, right? So again, make sure that you join this this broadcast channel here on Instagram. All right. But yeah, we got a ton of stuff coming up here on the channel. Share this. And I even got stuff that's already uploaded, ready to rock and roll for members only as well. So yeah, make sure you join the channel, join the membership. So now the brother Matawathya asks, when am I dropping the hats? So I actually hit up a brother, former 1715 brother down in Florida. Him and his family, they own an embroidery company. So right now we're working things out in terms of being able to produce these. So this is, of course, a custom one that it got our HOB logo on it, right? Philly Quahal, which is church or assembly in Hebrew, right? So the hats will just have, of course, the tetragrammaton and live by every word underneath it. Now, looking at this font, this is the font that is in the HIB. So if you don't have an HIB, make sure you scan right here at the top to purchase your HIB, your Hebrew Israelite Bible. But this is the font that I used for the Most High God's name in the HIB, and I turned it into a font. I actually drew this. Like this is my handwriting. Like this is my handwriting in Hebrew. So fire. So we're working on setting things up, getting all the business together. And what we'll probably be doing is a couple of drops, right? So we'll do pre-orders, right? Probably be on the HIB website where you can go. You can choose between either a black hat or navy blue hat, and you can choose what colors. We'll have color options and whatnot for you. Now, the live by every word is more than likely going to be in like an old English font, which you can see on the hat that I'm wearing here, right? So it'll be this font right here. All right. So we'll give brothers and sisters different options. But yeah, man, people have been asking about these hats for a little bit, and looking forward to providing them for the family, man. But soon come. Make sure you tapped in, follow me on the various different social media platforms, and I'll be making it known, of course, here on IG or here on YouTube rather, as well as IG. Right, but family, that's all, man. That's all we got for today. Make sure you guys again tap in, like, share, subscribe, hype the video. I pray you brothers and sisters were edified. Until next time, Shalawam and Mawaf Lababal.